Hello viewers and students, this is Dr. Kashinath Neharkar and I welcome you in my YouTube channel Law Volunteer Dr. Kashinath Neharkar. Friends, in this lecture we are going to discuss the constitutional provisions relating to tax. But friends, before going to start the topic, please subscribe my YouTube channel and please click bell icon to receive further notifications relating to my video lectures on various topics of law. So friends, in this lecture we are going to discuss the constitutional provisions relating to tax. Friends, in previous lecture I have discussed what is the concept of tax, kinds, etc. If you want to know that, you can refer the concerned lecture on my YouTube channel. Then that will be better for you to understand the constitutional provisions relating to tax. But friends, I hope you might have gone through that lecture. Friends, as you know, there is very close relation between Constitution of India and tax. See, the Constitution, what is Constitution? You know, Constitution is law of land. It is a supreme law of land. It is higher than anything in India, in Indian land. So it is a holistic document. It is very important document. It is a law of land that provides rights, liabilities of various parties. It provides the formation of government. It provides fundamental right, directive principles, different institutions like judiciary, election commission, what various things. If you go through the Constitution, you can find what is the importance of Constitution nowadays. See, therefore the Constitution is foundation and it is a basic source of power to legislate the taxing laws, because the Constitution itself provides for the formation of government also, form of government also. Constitution itself provides the power of government also. Therefore this is the source for Constitution is source for government itself, and the Constitution is source for powers of government. Friends, the government taxation is nothing but the inherent power of government, and the government levy and collect the tax, and this power of government is derived from Constitution of India itself. Friends, the powers of parliament, the powers of state to legislate any law regarding levy and collection of tax, the restrictions that are imposed by Constitution on such powers, entries relating to taxation in union list, state list, etc., as given in 7th schedule, all are originated from Constitution of India itself. So the Constitution is a basic source of taxation system, government's power of taxation, etc. So friends, all the laws, executive actions that are subordinate to Constitution, and even the taxing laws, taxing orders, that should be subordinate to Constitution. So friends, now we are going to discuss which are those provisions we can find in Indian Constitution that are directly or indirectly related to tax. Somewhere you may not find the use of word tax, but that are related to taxation. So the first important provision is Preamble of Indian Constitution. Friends, the Preamble of Indian Constitution is nothing but key to open the mind of Constitution premise, and it provides the object of Indian Constitution. It sets out objects, goals that to be achieved by government under Indian Constitution. So the object of every taxing law that is enacted as per the provisions of Constitution, that should be framed in such a manner to help or to achieve the objects and goals that are enumerated by Preamble of Indian Constitution. As you can see the preamble of Indian Constitution that starts from "We the people of India," and it sets certain goals. Among these important goals, it is responsibility of India, it is responsibility of government of India to secure justice to its citizen, and the nature of that justice is economic, social, and political. And see, for economic and social justice, it requires some positive acts from the government, and this positive act is to do certain activities, to perform certain activities, to perform welfare functions also, and for that purpose it needs fund, and that fund can be raised through taxes. Then secondly, the this is very important, see. So the preamble, through its social, economic, and political justice, imposes an obligation upon state government to perform certain activities. So the preamble is necessary, and it sets out goals, and that goals can be achieved by the government through its various functions, and for that functions it requires money, it requires fund can be raised through the taxes. Then second important provisions we must find in fundamental rights. Friend, in fundamental rights also there are certain provisions that are indirectly connected with the taxation. First is the equality before law. It means state shall not deny any person equality before law, and there should be the equal protection of law. Here the tax treatment, there should not be any discrimination between the persons. All persons should be treated equality in regard to levy and collection of tax. There should not be discrimination, equality should be maintained. But here also the government can give exemption to certain persons who are unable to pay tax, or who are the weaker sections. That can be done by reasonable classification, which is allowed by section article 14 of Indian Constitution. So equality before law, this is also the one principle that is related to taxation. Then second principle that is provided by article 15 is that nobody should be discriminated on the basis of race, sex, caste, creed, etc. So even the taxing statute shall not discriminate among the citizens on the basis of race, sex, caste, creed, etc. Then second article, important article, is article 19, which provides 6 golden freedoms. So regarding that, among these 6 golden freedom, one of very important golden freedom is right to practice any profession or to carry any occupation, trade, business, etc. Though this is golden freedom, but this is not absolute, and the government have a right to impose certain reasonable restrictions, and these reasonable restrictions are provided by article 19 subclause 6, which provides that the government may impose certain restrictions for regulation of the trade, business, profession, etc. in the interest of general public. Reasonable restrictions can be exercised on such right. So raising of tax by imposing it on professions, trade, etc., that can be in the interest of society, in the interest of public. So it is also a reasonable restrictions. So the golden freedom, though this is golden freedom to practice any profession, etc., the government has a right to impose tax upon that profession, etc., and that works as a reasonable restriction. Then third provision from fundamental right is article 27, which provides that no tax shall be levied on the persons following particular religion. See, this is very important provision under Indian Constitution. A government, while imposing the tax, shall not make any discrimination. That discrimination is on the basis of religion. See, so if there were certain instances in history where certain person following particular religion were compelled to pay tax, as like jizya tax in earlier age. So such kind of tax now cannot be imposed. Even for example, in India, if majority peoples are Hindu, and the minority is Muslim, Christian, etc., so government cannot impose any specific tax only on those persons who are following any religion other than the Hindu religion. So a specific tax cannot be imposed on any person, Muslim person, Christian person, only because of the fact that they are following Muslim or the Mohammedan religion or Christian religion or whatsoever the thing is. So this is very important provision relating to tax. Now we must see some important provisions from directive principles also. Friends, directive principles are not enforceable by law. Not enforceable by courts. You cannot go to court for the violation of any right. That is subject matter of directive principle. But it is a responsibility of state. It is responsibility of government to try to implement or to protect or to provide such a rights which are provided under the directive principles. See friends, there are some very important articles that have indirect connection with the taxation, and the first article is state to secure social order for the promotion of welfare of public. So to achieve the welfare of public, it is responsibility of government, and government must act in such a way that he has to provide welfare to public at large. He has to perform in such a way that the public's welfare can be protected. Nowadays in welfare state, it is professed that welfare by individual hand, it is not possible. So welfare of public at the hand of government, that is the principle under welfare state. So whatever the functions, activities that to be performed by government, that should be performed, and for that purpose, if any expenditure is necessary, that expenditure should be borne from the consolidated fund out of fund of India, and that consolidated fund can be raised through various sources, and the taxation is one of the source to raise the consolidated fund of India. So secondly, the article 38 provides certain guidelines to government. Among these, the first guideline is it is responsibility of state to promote welfare, securing social, economic and political justice, as we have already discussed in preamble. Second is it is responsibility of state to minimize the inequalities of income, and say the inequalities of income can be minimized by imposing more tax on rich persons, and to use that tax amount for the welfare of poor. So that is the one way by which the income can be distributed among the poor. When income can be taken, some part of income can be taken from rich persons, and that can be utilized for the betterment of poor persons. So that will help to reduce inequality, or the government can take the various activities, and one among is the taxation. Then eliminate the inequalities in status, etc. Then we must know another very important article, that is article 39 of Indian Constitution. See friends, this article also imposes an obligation upon state or government to secure social order for the promotion of welfare of the people. See, welfare of people is very important crux of article 38, 39. And see, article 39 itself is human rights jurisprudence, we can see. For at least in India, it tries to protect every kind of rights which are not protected by part 3rd of Indian Constitution. So here the state, it is responsibility of state that the policy of government should be molded or should be shaped in such a manner to secure right to adequate means of livelihood. It is very important. There should be adequate means of livelihood to everybody without any discrimination, and that can be provided by providing right to work, by providing concessional force, etc., or whatever the various activities that can be performed by government through the amount that can be collected from the tax. Then second is the government's policy should be framed in such a manner that ownership and control of material resources of community shall be distributed in such a manner to subserve the common good. See, national income, it is important. The ownership of community resources should be distributed among the all persons of India, and therefore that should be distributed in such a manner that will serve the benefit interest of all Indians, and that should not be detrimental to poor, etc., all those persons who have no direct access to the community wealth. As we know, the industrialists have access to community wealth. They are using different sources, different resources for their industry, and out of that they are getting rich, they are getting money, etc. But this is not possible to everybody. So at least by imposing tax upon such persons who have direct access to natural resources, community resources, that amount which is collected from that taxation, that can be used for the well-being of such persons, and that is one mean of distribution of natural resources, community resources. You must understand. We can't discuss this in detail, because say article 39, 38 itself is the topic for PhD. You can do the PhD on this topic. See, then third is the operation of economic system should be made in such a way to prevention of concentration of wealth and detriment to common interest. So the government should take care that the property should not be concentrated in the hands of few persons, and that concentration can be done prevented by way of taxation, act of taxation. Then next is the health of workers should not be abused, etc. Children should be given an opportunity for education, and for that purpose the government must take necessary action. So this is also then, see, whenever government is going to perform any act, whenever government is going to do any act, it is going to implement any scheme, it will require money expenditure, and that can be raised through the taxation. Friends, then as we have discussed, the children should be provided an opportunity for education. So friends, these are some important provisions relating to tax under Indian Constitution, friends. But this is not the end of constitutional provisions, friends. In next lecture we are going to discuss the distribution of taxing power under Indian Constitution. That is also the part of constitutional provisions relating to tax. Then after that we are going to discuss no tax shall be levied and collected except authority of law, and that is also the part of Indian Constitution. So do join us in next lecture, friends. If you like this video, please like it, share it with your friends, and do not forget to subscribe this channel. Do not forget to press bell icon so you can get further notifications relating to video lectures on law. So friends, thank you.